Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
How's it out there on the West Coast, Dallas? Because I have about 8 feet of snow outside of my house right now.
I got to tell you, I walked my girls to school today in shorts and flip flops. It was brisk though, for sure. It was brisk. Like it felt like it was one of those like it's 63. It probably but feels like 62.
Feels like 55. Yeah.
So it was But I made the adjustment. I powered through.
That's sick.
I walked quickly. Just to kind of.
I'm wearing snow pants like right now. Like I still got them on just because I'm gonna have to get back out there at some point.
What time is Homer Simpson rolling through? Mr. Plow.
Yeah, we get a plow coming at like 7 o'clock tonight.
You looking to get plowed out?
We had to dig a path from the front door to the street just so that like DoorDash and like UPS can get to the door.
How about you make a meal? How about you do that? You know what's crazy to think about?
How's Steve doing? How's Steve getting through this?
Steve is probably on his 5th DoorDash in the last 24 hours. Yeah.
I mean, you know what's crazy is if you warm up your oven because you've used it to make food, it'd be warm in the house.
You're talking to Steve?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to...
we DoorDash coffees. Like this is Starbucks. We can't get the cars out of the driveway. So we're DoorDashing coffees.
You need to mix in an espresso. No free ads. You need to mix in a cafecito.
I have an espresso machine. I want cold brew.
Idiot. I gotta go clear. I gotta go clear my snow. I gotta go clear a fucking path in the snow so I can get my cold brew.
I did not clear the path.
No, really? You got Train out there banging away at that thing?
No, the girls were out there because they were like, we need Starbucks. They literally dug a tunnel to the mainland so that they could DoorDash Starbucks.
What, is school canceled?
Yeah.
How soft are you guys out there?
3 feet of snow out here.
How
School's
soft.
already canceled tomorrow down here.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wow.
And I believe we're getting like 16 inches this coming weekend as well.
Let's fucking do it.
How's that? Oh, buddy, we're gonna have some frozen trees. I mean, I hate to bring it up, but
I know. I hope it comes down.
Dear sweet neighbor lady, if you're listening, at this point,
probably is.
I'm praying for a frozen tree situation.
I hope the tree fucking falls down because that way, like, it's just done with. We don't have to talk about it anymore. The tree's gone. Like, just have it fall down and take out all the power lines, whatever. I don't care. But I don't want to hear about the tree no more.
Yeah, it's going to explode and there's going to be limbs that end up firing through her home and through her car. And she's going to be like, see? But you know what?
I told ya.
You're not, I mean, I'd like to believe that you're absolved of that. Like, it's a natural disaster, man. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, the tree exploded. What the hell do you want me to do about it?
Oh.
My pipes are frozen.
You didn't run a drip? Come on, I know about this stuff and I live out here.
No, I did. I ran the drip for the sink, but not the shower. The shower's frozen, not the sink. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Shut up.
My God.
Shut up.
Well, at least the squirrels that are living in your roof are warm.
there was a mouse under the stove the other day.
Oh my God. I mean, geez, has your place not been condemned yet? I don't know how that hasn't happened.
I hope it falls down at this point. I don't even care, dude.
Fucking frozen pipes, rodent hotel.
I'm literally considering doing like a
child labor out in front. Like what? You fucking running a
I'm considering doing like a B&E just so I can spend the winter in jail.
Oh yeah, sounds like a great place to stay. Hey, we don't have running hot water. We never mind the slave labor.
No, he wants to go to jail. He's saying he wants to go to jail.
You dumbass. Yeah.
Oh, what? You want to go to a B&E? You're not going to stay at home.
I just said I'm considering doing a B&E so that I can go to jail for the winter.
I thought you said B&B. I was like, nobody wants to go to... Just go kick somebody's door down.
Yeah. Anyways. Jose Ramírez, huh? Shit. Yes. Actually, I loved this, and I don't know. I tweeted something out. Let me pull up the tweet because I feel like it was a thought-provoking question. I wasn't trying to criticize the guy. Why would I want to criticize Jose Ramírez? He's one of my favorite players in baseball. I said, literally the first sentence, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but realistically, how much money do you think Jose Ramírez has left on the table by choosing to be loyal to the Cleveland Guardians? It has to be the most of any player in baseball history. That was more just like, I'm creating a baseball discussion more so. I'm not criticizing Jose Ramírez. I think it's great that he's going to spend the rest of his career, his entire career, with the team that found him and gave him his first opportunity, and he, has performed for. Like, this is a we're heading down the path of a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. No.
Yes, I believe we're already there, in my opinion. But yeah,
not yet. But I think when he completes this deal, you're going to look at his resume and be like, "Yep, Hall of Famer." It's not even going to be a discussion.
Well, I'm saying first ballot. So for me, he's a Hall of Famer as it sits right now, and I'm saying the first ballot conversation is one that I think will be solidified. It's already, in my opinion, 60-40. We're there. Yeah. But I felt like, well, just to answer your question, like, look, dude, it's the internet and it's phrasing. And when you drop I don't mean this, but that's where people are like, oh, so what, you think because he left all this money? That's where people are coming from. But I understand I understand the premise of the question is to ask, like, let's be honest. Jose Ramírez has left money on the table, possibly more money on the table than any other superstar has left on the table. I think Mike Trout could be in that conversation, but I don't know. I don't know.
But Trout made so much money on both of his deals that it's like has Trout left money on the table? Sure. But comparatively speaking to Jose Ramírez at times where he could have entered free agency and what he would have gotten if he had gone there compared to what his actual career earnings, he's sub 100 million for his career.
No. By the time this contract is over, he will have made almost $275 million as a member of the Cleveland.
Yeah, but he's franchise. Sub 100 for his career right now.
Yes. Yeah. So the distinction I would draw, and why I agree with you that your comment is not immediately a negative comment, is because Jose Ramírez is an adult who has made multiple decisions that follow the same line. He has been very verbal about his desire to do this, to stay in one place, to be with the franchise that he has spent his whole career with, that he has said he is very, very comfortable with the overall situation there. I think I think the situations that are most tragic, whether he's left the most money on the table or it's up there, like the Acuna thing to me feels a little bit different because he signed away all of his prime at a time where he had accumulated virtually no MLB earnings at all. And by the time that he clears that contract, may not be in a position to fully capitalize on himself the way that Jose Ramírez has been able to capitalize on himself multiple times. I think this is... Listen, I know that people are frustrated with a superstar level talent hitching himself to a franchise that is not adequately invested around the talent the way that we all think that it should be. And the comparisons to Mike Trout are obvious and all of that. And his prime's been wasted away in LA. And I do understand that sentiment to a degree. I wish Cleveland would have invested more around Jose Ramírez throughout the duration of his prime. And I think my frustrations with Cleveland's spending and approach are well documented, but this also isn't the Angels, right? Like, this isn't a fucking ass franchise that has not been competitive at all during the Superstars window. This is one of, if we're just talking about how they run their organization, this is one of the cutting edge, best organizations in baseball over the last 25, 30 years, and certainly the entirety of the time that Jose Ramírez has been there. So, like, as a Guardians fan, I think this is just about probably the coolest thing that is likely to happen to a Cleveland baseball sports fan anytime soon. And I know that the goal for everyone is winning a World Series, and we all want that. And I hope that happens for Cleveland someday. But in an era where almost nobody starts and finishes their career with the same team, that, as to Dallas and your point earlier, that a future Hall of Famer is going to actually do that, and to have it be for a franchise that has actually had these level of talents before and had them walk out the door for more money elsewhere. No shade intended. Tommy, Manny, Albert Bell, Kenny Lofton, CC Sabathia. Like, there are a half dozen Hall of Fame caliber players that have been inside of the Cleveland doors and left for more money, that Joe Ram decided that's not what he wanted to do as his own personal decision, and that he's going to ride out and through age 40 and through the end of his career with Cleveland, I think is just, it's just so incredibly rare and cool and something to really, I know it's about the rings, but we just need to be able to cherish stuff like this when it happens. And I would have said that 30 years ago, and I think it's only more true in the current sports environment of 2026.
Well, and that's the thing is, for Jose making this decision, Jayhay, it's going to bring out both sides of the opinion, which one side is, man, and this is the side that I'm on. I love so much to see a human being prioritize and value the things that matter to him and make peace with why he's making the decision. And part of wanting to win a ring, believe it or not, I think has to factor into this decision, because he understands that if I'm providing the flexibility financially for the team to help and go out and bring talent in, then I feel like I'm doing my part. Does he have control after that about what the team does and how the team behaves? No, he does not. He's their third baseman. He's not their general manager. So the extent of what he can do in terms of helping them be competitive, he is doing the absolute maximum in that by producing the way he has, as consistently as he has, and by providing them with the financial flexibility, should they desire, to bring in talent that could help him chase that ring. Other than that, the only other option for him to chase that ring would be go to a team that is offering more money, that might be more competitive, and him sacrifice everything else that he has prioritized, which is the comfort, his family's comfort, the commitment that he is making and maintaining to a team that made the commitment to him so long ago. That matters to guys. And he is one of them. And he is the poster child of, my family wants this. I want to give this to my family. I am okay being here. This is how I want my career to play out. If I have the opportunity to finish in the same uniform that I started, the way that I can pay this franchise back for investing in me and changing my life so many years ago is by doing everything I can to be the best player that I can possibly be in front of fans that love me and give me the freedom and give me the space to perform the way I do, to go through struggles at times when I do, and not tell me that I need to be on the next plane out of here. That matters. And he has showed you that it matters time and time again with his decision-making. And that is what should be celebrated. That right there is the type of player that you want on your team. And I'll even go this far. In a day and age where NIL has hit the high school level, and when I say hit the high school level, I mean you've got seniors entertaining, making a ridiculous amount of money in their freshman year of college, and they're having that conversation at 17 years old. And then we watch that kid go to school X and then jump in the portal after their freshman year, and go to school Y and then jump in the portal after a sophomore year, because they're after the BBD, the bigger, better deal. Well, the way that you start to separate yourself at this age, at those ages, when it comes to schools who are interested in building programs, creating a culture, is you're willing to fight. You're willing to be told that you're not first on the depth chart, but you know what? I'm a freshman and I want to work and I want to earn that spot on the depth chart. And if that's the kind of culture that we need here, if that's the kind of group we're trying to build and create here, I want to be a part of that. That individual gets paid out in spades later. And it doesn't always necessarily come in the version of the NIL payout, but it comes in the life lessons that you're going to learn, and it comes in the player perspective you're going to gather, as opposed to moving from school to school, 3 different schools by the time you either get drafted or you graduate. Where's your legacy at that point in time? Say you're all done and you don't graduate and you have to go back to a school. You pick one of the handful. What's the feeling like? Which school do you go back to? Which one? Because you haven't laid a foundation in any one of these places. Jose Ramírez is not having those internal battles. That is not a conversation he has to have with himself. That's not a thought that permeates in his mind. He's not even in that same brain space. This is the dude that you want steering your young guys when they show up. This is how we do it.
And I think legacy sometimes in sports, especially now in the present day, has become overrated. Like the idea that you'll never have to buy yourself a drink in this town ever again. Like I think a lot of that is a dated concept. I don't think that's a dated concept as it relates to Jose Ramírez's relationship with the city of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like this is his franchise. He is, I know everybody who's a Cleveland fan knows this, and most baseball fans do. He is on the short list for the greatest player in franchise history and will have an enormously strong case for it by the time that he's over, particularly if you put any sort of emphasis on whether that person has played within the last century of time. Like the people who currently have the strongest arguments over Joe Ram for the greatest player in franchise history are black and white. They're black and white players. And like, I value that, but at some point, when we're talking about the most important and greatest players in franchise history, like distance from present day does kind of matter at some point. And he's second in home runs. He's only behind Tommy. He's third in games played, seventh in hits, second in stolen bases, third in runs. He is going to be first ahead of Boudreau in wins above replacement by any position player who's played in the last 100 years. Like, you cannot overstate what he means to the organization and how significant he is within it. And like this idea that, well, why didn't you just go somewhere else to win a ring? I understand the concept, but at some point, to some of the stuff Dallas was speaking to, like the equation starts to tilt the other way, where it's like, well, I have a 2.5% chance of winning a championship here. I have like a 7.5% chance or a 10% chance if I just go to one of these other teams that wanted me. Like in 2022 or whenever it was prior to 3, when they were very close to trading him, it was the Padres and it was the Blue Jays who were primarily interested in them. We don't know how the future would have played out. Neither of those teams has won the World Series since then. So this idea that you're just going to go to somewhere that invests more and win a World Series, Cleveland has in fact been as close or closer than the Padres at least have been over that time. So like, I don't know. I'm really trying to cherish this for what it is. And it's like, it's unprecedented in my personal fandom, and it's damn near unprecedented in just general recent baseball history for this caliber of player.
Yeah. And I think if you're a baseball fan who appreciates this, you have somebody on your favorite team right now that either left and you wish never would have, or you're hoping never leaves as it sits right now. And whether that happens or not, there's probably a greater chance that they end up wearing a different uniform by the time their career is over. I mean, we understand what's happening with Andrew McCutchen right now. That's an individual who, as we talked to in spring training last year, is on the list for one of the greatest Pirates players in franchise history. He's worn several other uniforms and is talking about how much it would mean to him to be able to go back. Even if I'm not signed, is there any shot that I can just come back and shake the hand, hold the baby, hug the fan who fell in love with Roberto Clemente so many years ago and was there when I showed up and got to cheer me on when I was the productive stud that I was when I was wearing the P on my hat? It means something to guys, and those guys should be valued. And I think the fans who do get that, I think they truly appreciate it, because there's 3 words that I've seen Guardians fans tweet out consistently: build the statue. Build the statue. That shit gets thrown around jokingly right after a guy shows up, first game, hits a homer somewhere for his new team. There you go, build the statue, the greatest we've ever seen here. No, that is a statement of substance when we're talking about Jose Ramírez.
Oh, for sure. No, it's definitely happening. If Tommy gets one, and I'm obviously fully behind that, Joe Ram is getting a statue. Oh, there's no question.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I think like when I think back on Jose Ramírez, my first thought of the player goes to like, how many times has he finished top 3 in MVP, knowing like he probably is never going to win one just based on the other guys that are in the league. I never say never, but next year's his age 33 season. He's still putting up damn near 6-win seasons, but he's always the guy that's in the conversation. Like when I turn on LB Network to watch the MVP awards be handed out, it's like, all right, you got Judge, you got whoever the runner-up is going to be, and then you got Jose Ramírez, who's probably going to finish third. Sometimes he's finished second. I want to say he's finished top 5 half
7 times, 8 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, Jared. He's losing out on these MVPs to guys who are having other
historical years.
I mean, just record-setting, just mind-bending types of performances. And then there's moments where it feels like he's not even in the conversation, and you have to remind people how good this dude is. Like,
I think people honestly don't appreciate how good he is.
No.
That's like that's meant to be a compliment to Jose Ramírez. I think because he's never won the one MVP, and you know, people remember the races, right? They remember, you know, like Bobby Witt and Aaron Judge. They remember Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. Like no one really remembers like who finished third. But it's always him. He's always like, for whatever race happens, the next guy is always Jose Ramírez.
It's so funny you brought this up too. This isn't here nor there on the extension, but Baseball Reference does MVP and Cy Young award shares. So it's like it looks at all of the voting points that you've accumulated, even if you didn't necessarily win one. And Jose Ramírez's voting share total is the highest in MLB history for any player who does not have an MVP award.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's got the MVP equity of Mookie Betts. Like that's the guy he's right near. He's got more than George Brett. He's got more than Reggie Jackson. And it's because he doesn't have that one win.
Right.
People don't necessarily think of him in that way. Yep.
Yeah. Which sucks because, I mean, I think if we were to have Jayhay go, you know, review his entire career, like, is there an MVP that he should have won but didn't that stands out in your mind? Like, what was the year that he finished second? That was...
So he finished second in 2020.
Like, I wouldn't even want that one. Like, even if he won that one, people are going to be like, he's got one. It's like, does he? You know?
Yeah, well, they would call it's a Mickey Mouse MVP.
Yeah, and you certainly could argue that he should have won that one over Abreu. You could also argue that a couple of other players could have won that year. And I don't think he has like an egregious situation where, you know, he was robbed and because like you know,
Judge in 17.
Yeah, like his award in 18, he finished third in 18. So that's another close finish. That was also Mookie Betts' career-defining season. Yeah. And Joe Ram was just not nearly as good. You know, the 17 was Altuve Judge. Like Joe Ram is obviously taking third in that conversation, but that's why, you know, we're capable of having more nuance and understanding and being and knowing that a guy finishing in the top 5 in the MVP 6 times and having another 6th and 10th place finish in addition to all of that really is as valuable as one or multiple MVP finishes in terms of accumulating career value. And I don't think. I agree. At the end of the day, I think he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think people have fully caught up onto how good he is. And, you know, I think what my hope is that down the line, and I think this is how it's going to play out, but you see a lot of these guys who are extended into their 40s or whatever. And I think I brought up recently, like, how is that relationship with the fans and the media and the team going to change as these players diminish and get older and are still making an enormous amount of money? I don't really have that concern here because of his relationship and his approval rating in Cleveland. And, you know, not for nothing, I do hope that people remember that while maybe the $25 million a year for his age 38 to 40 seasons will be technically overpaid, he's been undercompensated for his entire career, as we laid out at the beginning, and that matters.
I would even argue that he is by franchise, that he would be like the 3rd most beloved player per franchise in baseball right now. Like, I don't know that anybody loves Ohtani more than Dodgers fans. Nobody loves Aaron Judge more than Yankees fans. And Jose Ramírez.
I would even push back on that. I would say maybe the height of adoration for those two is higher than Joe Ram, but I also, I know you see the same shit. every single October, I see the same bullshit from Yankees fans, self-loathing about Aaron Judge's performance, or when he doesn't come up, or extended slumps during the season. Like, there is just more love-hate with him, and I think that's just part of being the biggest or second biggest star in the sport and playing for that media market. But that's also one of the upsides for playing in the media market that Joe Ram does, is that you don't necessarily get that vitriol on the same quantity or degree. And, I think for a lot of people, there's a lot appealing to that. And he's clearly one of those people.
I'm happy for him. I mean, to all your points that you guys have made, I don't know the way that the game is going, and maybe we'll see in 2027 how that's affected in terms of the money that's being thrown around in the sport. But the way that teams are able to spend now for players that are, like, I get it when, you're a middle of the road kind of player, like, you're good, but you're not great. Sure, you can spend your whole career with the same franchise, but Jose Ramírez is great. Like, how many players that are this good will spend their entire careers with the same team when that team isn't necessarily known for spending a ton of money? So it's not just the rarity of a player spending his entire career with the same team in this era. It's a player that is this good spending his entire career with a team that spends like the Guardians do. Right. When you have teams like the Dodgers and the Mets and whomever that spend like they do.
Buddy, it's one of one.
Yeah.
You've nailed it. It is one of one. And I don't think that we should have any expectation that a team in Cleveland's spending arena is going to be keeping a player of this caliber anytime soon.
Ever again.
No. Yeah, maybe ever again. Depending on how the landscape looks, obviously, post new CBA. But I just, go ahead.
Well, and outside of Trout in Anaheim, who we know that Anaheim has not been afraid to sign checks at times, curiously allocated. We know that the Yankees will spend money, and that's where Aaron Judge lives. Again, those two guys will retire, and they will be Hall of Famers for one team. And Jose Ramírez is going to be that next guy who does the same. And that's just as rare as that has become in our sport. The fact that all three of those guys are no doubt Hall of Famers, that's something that has been achieved, and honestly, through different paths based on their franchise and how you think that they would get there, how you think that they would arrive there. They spent the money on Trout, generational talent. You got to sign that check, and you got him to sign the contract as soon as you possibly can. And they did that. Aaron Judge, he teased baseball by getting on airplanes and traveling to places. His stunt double, Arson Judge, went to San Francisco. And
I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it.
And that was that. We knew where he was going to be. It wasn't going to end up any other way. And Ohtani, because he started his career in Anaheim, is not going to have that same distinction. He'll be a Dodger forever. But all three of those guys kind of arriving at the same spot through different paths. But it's still something that should be appreciated by baseball fans everywhere.
Yeah, the only last thing I'll say, the only parallel I can think of in the current game is Jose Altuve. And obviously the Astros spending and the Guardians spending throughout the duration of their careers has just generally been in different stratospheres. So, and for as great as Jose Altuve was, I would posit that on the whole, he has not been quite as great as Joe Ram, despite having the MVP award, and at least not with the same consistency, I don't think. And it has never felt like Jose Altuve was almost single-handedly tasked with carrying the Astros offense. Like, that's just never been the case. And that has increasingly been the case, even when the team was very good, great, whatever you want to call those Cleveland teams. Even during some of those seasons, he was basically tasked with doing that anyway. So I don't want it to be disrespectful to Altuve, who's also going to go to the Hall of Fame and has also been with one team, but I don't think it's, obviously I'm biased, I don't think it's quite the same.
Yeah, the qualifier was just the way that those teams are willing to spend and the way the Guardians have not.
Mm-hmm. But either way, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Guardians fans out there. The MacKenzie Gore trade. This one surprised me in many ways. 5 players go back to the Nats in this MacKenzie Gore trade to the Texas Rangers. The Rangers go out and get MacKenzie Gore. Paul Taboni got hired as the general manager over there, headed over from the Boston Red Sox. And his first kind of big move there is this trade. And is this something that you guys think that the Nats capitalized at the right time? Do you think that they could have gotten a similar package, but more, I guess, if not more in terms of quantity, more aggressive suitors at the trade deadline when injuries happen in spring training, or teams are close that didn't expect to be and they're trying to make a push for it? How would you have played this if you were the Nats, or do you think that they played it the correct way?
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable with the move. Yeah, I mean, because and I hate to bring it up, but 2027 is a question mark, and like what kind of time are we buying here? That clock's going to keep ticking. That's another year where the value starts to get affected, and if I can move him sooner rather than later, because I don't think we're going to be competitive for whatever reason, then I think you have to do it. And they felt comfortable enough to do it, and I mean that's just kind of the state of the club right now, in my opinion.
Any criticism of the Nationals, at least from my perspective, is pre-current administration. So I like that. Whether they could have gotten different or better packages at the deadline, probably yes. Certainly this seems like they were prioritizing quantity over getting the best individual prospect possible, maybe, or certainly the one that was closest to the majors, because based on my reading, the guy who is the headliner of this deal was just drafted in the most recent draft, and I believe it was reported that
the Red Sox were all over him, and Taboni was part of that in the draft. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, now I can say it. I had a video recorded with him in case the Red Sox drafted him, welcoming him to the Red Sox organization. But I think he got taken 2 picks before the Red Sox could even have a shot at him.
Welcome to Red Sox South.
Yeah. So
Mid-Atlantic, I guess.
Correct. So Taboni was still there at the time of the draft and loves the player.
Yeah. So I think, but I know this is obvious now, but their new administration, Taboni, got to make this decision, right? And so instead of the interim getting to make the decision at the trade deadline, it was the new administration. And I think that's how you should be running your organization if you plan on bringing in a new team, or the possibility exists that you're going to bring in a new team. I think it is interesting that they targeted quantity, and generally, at least the most important assets are not immediate contributors. I just think that they took over a situation that we all know should be further along in the process of being a competitive team, but is not. And they're essentially starting over again. And so I think if that's the approach, targeting the guys that you want, whether or not they're far away from the major leagues, is the right choice. And I think there's reason to be optimism that MacKenzie Gore has another level, or to be more specific, that he is able to maintain his levels from the first halves of the last 2 seasons into the second halves. Yeah. But I'm also okay if the Nationals have made the decision that we're not the team that's going to figure him out. We're not the team that any longer has the patience or the desire to be the team that breaks him loose in that regard. So 2 years left. I think it's an opportune time for both teams. It's a natural time for the Nationals. It makes sense for the Rangers because they're trying to walk this line of remaining competitive, because they still, I know, the Semi and Nimmo swap, they still are invested in winning now, and their roster is still geared towards winning now for the most part. It's an older roster, and MacKenzie Gore makes an enormous amount of sense on their team in terms of solidifying the rotation that, quite frankly, still has an enormous number of questions.
Is the Rangers rotation the most what-if rotation in baseball? You've got DeGrom, Eovaldi, Gore, Leiter. Like at their peak, at fully healthy, at running on all four cylinders, that's a fucking hell of a rotation. But DeGrom, can you count on him to stay healthy? No. Eovaldi, can you count on him to stay healthy? Probably not. MacKenzie Gore, good pitcher, but like has he I feel like he's only scratching the surface of his peak potential. And Jack Leiter, it's like, we've seen him be really bad, we've seen him be really good. Which guy is he? Don't know. So
that's where
there's a lot of potential there.
That's where the health of the first two names and the development and the growth of the next two names are really important. And that's why it's more than fair to say question marks, because the questions, unfortunately, are going to be the questions that revolve around those first two for the rest of their career, or until they finish their career, right? Is how healthy are they going to be? It's not about the type of performance you're getting when they are healthy. It's about their availability, not pure ability. And for MacKenzie Gore and Jack Leiter, it's a combination of the two. Is all right, when healthy, are they going to be able to take those next steps? And I think for MacKenzie Gore, and we talked about this. I talked about the growth and the evolution for Jack on Slab Lab. I talked about the same thing with MacKenzie Gore and the development of a changeup on Slab Lab. And those are two things that I think for the Texas Rangers, they feel confident in being able to tap into and being able to extract more out of. And if you're able to do that, then your third and fourth spots in the rotation, given that the first two are spoken for and are going to be healthy in this hypothetical exercise, then you absolutely feel good about this. You should anyway.
For sure. And I really do like it for the Rangers, because they didn't have to trade anything that matters to the 2026, probably 2027 Texas Rangers, which with the way that this team is constructed does matter. And secondly, if things don't work out, even if MacKenzie Gore delivers on his end and for whatever the Rangers, their core around them disintegrates, DeGrom and Eovaldi aren't healthy, the Mariners or Astros are a lot better than maybe we think they're going to be, they can trade MacKenzie Gore again because of the remaining service. So they get to the trade deadline this year, it's kind of DOA. They still have enough, there's still enough control on his contract to be able to trade him for a meaningful return and kind of restart and repivot here. I think it's one of the best trades or transactions of the offseason in terms of really meeting the needs and trajectories of both teams that were participating. Can I do a quick Nationals aside though for a second? Sure. And this is a Mike Rizzo administration failure, but I just don't think we can overstate how big of an embarrassment it is that if their timeline of the new administration is to be believed, we're going to go a decade in between relevant Nationals, good Nationals baseball. From the teardown of the 2019 champion, they are now executing what will probably amount to be a full-on teardown of the teardown that they tried to execute following that championship. And the total inability to generate any sort of player development or talent infusion beyond the initial Juan Soto trade is just an incredible sin here, because that singular transaction is one of the great star for prospect trades of the last 20, 25 years, maybe ever, given that they got Gore, Wood, Abrams, and more out of it. And yet they are no closer to competing, and in fact, probably further away from competing than they have been at any other point during this cycle. And it's just an insane indictment on how badly run this team has been post-title. And whether we get to it now or later or not at all, I know the CJ Abrams name was dangled. There were real talks apparently between at least the Giants and the Nationals about CJ Abrams. That to me is a fait accompli. That's, even if he's not going to the Giants now or isn't going to the Giants ever, he's going somewhere eventually because he's wasting his time on the Nationals. And I think we're ultimately, unless they get pen to paper, we're probably going to have the same conversation with James Wood at some point. And that to me is it's just crazy how far away from being relevant this team is, and how much time they've already wasted not being relevant. End of rant. Thank you.
I mean, it's all fair.
I wasn't even being that mean.
No, it's all real.
No, yeah. But I mean, when you look at the Juan Soto trade and how the organization was praised for the return that they got for the control that was left on Soto and where the Nats organization has sort of gone from there. It's like, yeah, like you hit on some guys, but like, how has that translated to winning? It hasn't. Like, that's great that, James Wood could be your franchise player. MacKenzie Gore was a stud at the top of your rotation. Like all those things can be true, but what have you done to supplement any of that to get the Nationals back to the postseason or even just a winning season? Let's set the bar low there.
Nothing. And it like you could say, oh, they didn't go out and spend anything on any of these guys or to supplement. They didn't even get themselves into a position to justify being able to spend on guys to supplement this core. Like they were multiple steps away from being where they needed to be, like outside of those 3 tent poles or whatever from the Juan Soto trade. It's just, it's going to be a long time. And it's fun if you're Tabani and taking over and you get to put your own stamp on this and it's basically a fresh slate. But if you're a Nationals fan, like this sucks ass in a lot of ways.
Sucks. Anyways, download the Underdog Fantasy app. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Did any of you guys see the poly market stuff with Framber? So I think it was like yesterday or the day before. Like the predictive markets showed that he was 99% to sign with the Orioles. And I was just like, somebody knows something. Wow. And it hasn't happened yet, but it went from like, 43% to just fucking 99%. So, but I mean, again, we're recording right now on January 26th. It's Monday at 2:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I got to tap into that.
Hasn't happened yet.
I got to tap into that because that is essentially like Polymarket is basically just insider information.
Right. But it's illegal.
From what I understand. I get it. Yeah, I'm not telling you it's illegal, but I'm telling you what we have seen, like some like insider
trading is basically encouraged.
Yes. Well, it's not only encouraged, but it's being flaunted as well.
Yeah.
Like you're watching people bet on things that are just like,
I think it's a feature, not a bug. Yeah. The insider trading.
Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. So that's why, I mean, I don't know. I was a little surprised to see that Framber still hasn't signed yet if it was 99% a day or two ago, but
yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll be honest. I believed that what happened in Houston was something that was going to affect his market. I think it's fair to say at this point that I don't know that I thought it was going to affect it to this extent. And maybe I'm applying.
We don't know. Like, what if he gets the deal from Baltimore and you're like, all right, yeah, okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say is maybe it's not necessarily the deal per se, but
delayed the signing,
the time that it's taken for it to come out, the time that it's taken for the deal to come through. I felt like that would be something that had already happened, understanding how important starting pitching is and understanding what caliber of arm he is. But it feels like when we were talking about teams that might be turned off, teams that feel like, you know what, could he help us? Sure. Do we think we're a Framber away? Maybe not. Are we in on him though? We are. But just don't know that we want to spend that money and commit that to a guy who's got this streak in him. And unless you feel really good about the clubhouse and that group's ability to onboard him and get him pulling on the rope with everybody else, then maybe it's something that you've shied away from. But I felt like this was something that would have already happened at this point in time because we're getting ready to turn the calendar from January to February. We are days away, 2 weeks away from pitchers and catchers, right? 3 weeks from pitchers and catchers.
At this point, would you be shocked if Framber's deal didn't have an opt-out after the first year?
I would be pretty surprised. Yeah.
If it did not include.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Any chance that it is just a straight up 1 year deal?
I think that would surprise me more. I think it's, that would be genuinely surprising to me if it was just a straight one for a high AAV or whatever. Because I feel like what's the AAV for Framber Valdez got to be to make that kind of make sense for him, or at least be palatable?
40.
Yeah, it's got to be really high, right? And I don't.
Yeah.
Like if I'm the Orioles, I understand why 1 in 40 might make sense. I don't. That doesn't feel like an Orioles deal. It just doesn't.
No, I think I could see it being 5 years with an opt out after 2. I think the Orioles are going to want, like, because I think with the Met situation and Bo Bichette, like kind of like what Clem was saying, an opt out after 1. If he opts out and he's opting out of $42 million a year, that means that he had a monster year, and that's great for us. But with Framber, I'm looking to get some run out of it if I'm Baltimore, right? Like it's not like free agents flock to Baltimore. I know they signed Pete Alonso, but that was just like a weird market. It was a very weird market for Alonso that ended up having him land in Baltimore. But as far as like premier starting pitching, if I'm the Orioles, I'm looking to kind of take advantage of a situation where people are like, I don't know about the character of this guy. And it's like, all right, come on down to Baltimore, man.
Yeah. And to me, like, I just feel less good about the take a 1-year deal and get back on the horse sort of thing if I'm a pitcher. I feel like I know Snell did a version of this and, cashed out nicely.
Yeah.
Snell was a little bit younger than Framber is. He's certainly got a different level of sex appeal. He's got the awards. Like, I just don't know if I'm Framber, if I'm necessarily looking to bank on, like, I don't really know that he's should be counted on to have a better year next year than he did last year, because he was pretty damn good. He had a 3.66 with similar underlying ERA numbers in 192 innings. Like, if I'm Framber, I kind of want to get paid out for the track record that I've developed.
Sure.
And I feel like the Ranger Suarez contract probably set the floor for what Framber is looking to get. Because I think he's correctly and would argue that he's a better pitcher and certainly has a longer track record of being, but older. But I think if I'm Framber's agent, yeah. And maybe that's why he's going to end up closer to Ranger than he is Cease. Who we all remember signed for $210 million.
That I would be shocked by if he got 7 years.
Oh, yeah, no way.
I think 5 is the peak, but it's like there's opt-outs in there.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it looks something similar to the Pete Alonso deal in terms of overall compensation and years and stuff like that.
What were you guys talking? Like 5 for 2?
Yeah.
I said like at first I thought an opt-out after 1, but if you're Framber, I don't know that you can rehabilitate your image in 1 year. Like, I feel like opt-out after 2 smells right, but like he'll be 34?
Yeah, but again, opt-out after 2, okay. Well, everybody's whether you'd like to play or not, we're opting that there's not going to be a baseball season in that second year. So you're going to be another year older after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also don't know, I don't know that Framber is going to do better putting himself up against next year's, let's just say baseball is being played and people are spending money. I don't think he looks better compared to next year's free agent pitching class than he did this year's. Like, this year's, he could have conceivably made the case that he's the best available. Like, I am the best guy. Say what you want about the throwing at your own player stuff, or whatever. Some people preferred Cease, maybe some people preferred Ranger Suarez, but he could at least make that case. Can't make that case with in a free agent class with Tarek Skubal, and I don't think most people are gonna like him versus Freddie Peralta. Is certainly statistically debatable. I don't know how that's going to look a year from now. Obviously, Framber is older, and there's a lot of other interesting names that could join or could pop up and stuff like that. I just, Luzardo, is he better than Luzardo? I guess we have to kind of wait to see, given Jesus' up and down track record, but I'm not sure that that's one that's going to look favorably for him, another fellow lefty. So Next year, he could be the third, fourth best left-handed starting pitcher on the market. I think I'm trying to take what I can get this year.
I guess we'll see. Were there any other topics you guys want to hit on?
No, I mean, I kind of touched on the Andrew McCutchen stuff. I think it's just one of those situations where the player understands that he is not the player that he once was, and understands that he's not the player that he once was, specifically while wearing the Pirates uniform the first time around. But I think he has some arguments when it comes to how some of the other players he listed and how they were treated by their home franchises and how that went. And this is him just, I think it's him wanting to make sure that Pittsburgh Pirates fans know this is where I would like to end my career. This is how I would like for this chapter in my life to close. I still want to play baseball. I want them to rip the uniform off my back. I want the Pirates to rip the uniform off my back, but I want to be in the uniform, and then I want them to rip it off my back. So is there a way that we can figure that out? And I think Ben Cherington during FanFest talked about, we absolutely appreciate Kutch. We love Kutch, and we know his status within our franchise. We also are trying to send a message, and take it for what it's worth to you, that our interest is winning baseball games and having those games matter in June and July and August. And maybe we're at a point where adding somebody like him, and he didn't say this, but this is what you could read between lines, maybe adding somebody like him was not our best path to doing so. And if there's opportunity that's being taken from other places to keep him aboard, all right, then I guess I can understand that to an extent, but it's just I hate to see this going down between a franchise great and the team that he's with, because I know Pirates fans would love to be able to send him off in their own way.
Yeah.
Just a quick response to that. I think, to do a rare defense of the Pirates, I think this is actually a case where there's close to a no win for them, because I think they're probably well-founded in thinking that our playing time should probably go elsewhere. Like, we should probably just try something different or something that's got more potential lasting impact, while also understanding the other side, where if they, didn't bring him back, it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's like the greatest player of the last 25 years. So tough spot for them to be in. Only other thing I had was Kimbrel. Just noting that he's back on a minor league deal with the Mets. I just love it. I'm not a huge Craig Kimbrel fan, and I'm not going to be endorsing him for the Hall of Fame. Not that my endorsement matters, but I love it when legends but don't let go. And just like, it doesn't matter whether they were superstars in their primes and now they're walking in on minor league deals. Like, I find that dynamic to be so interesting, because you don't really get that in the real world. You don't get CEOs or however you want to draw this equivalency, walking in as like bag boys at the grocery store that they used to own, sort of thing, or used to be the GM of. So that sports works this way, I just always find fascinating. And he's fifth on the all-time saves list. He's second among active players behind Kenley. Like, whether he ends with 440 or 448 doesn't matter to me, but that he's still, out there, not necessarily hunting saves, but hunting baseball throwing opportunities, to me is very cool. So good luck to him. And that it's the Mets and the, just the chaos and combustibility that could exist with Craig Kimbrel taking relief innings for a relevant Mets team over the summer and into the fall. That could be very exciting for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, he still has electric shit. For a guy that's taken a minor league deal with his resume, I wish him all the best. This is a little self-serving, but I'm a little surprised that Lucas Giolito is still out there, that we don't even hear his name come up. I think when we look at the I guess, landscape of free agent pitchers that are out there right now, Framber Valdez is clearly not the number one. You have Zach Gallen, who's still out there. And then after that, after those two guys, it's like, all right, Framber has character issues. Zach Gallen was very bad. Then the other guys that are still out there that you would even want to mention are Justin Verlander, who's 58 years old, and Max Scherzer, who's 57 years old. That's it. Like, as far as starting pitching go, how is Lucas Giolito still out there? And like, my guy's phone isn't ringing. It's not even like he's like, sifting through offers being like, all right, just trying to decide between these three clubs, which one fits me the best. And, what situation I think is best for me and my family. It's like, it's like he's not even being considered. And he was very good last year. You talk to me about the under the hood numbers or whatever, but even with that, he still was a good pitcher on a good team last year. And it's just very surprising to me and odd that he doesn't have a job right now.
Maybe he's just trying to figure out where he would rather live. Do I want to live in West Sacramento? Do I want to live in Roseville? Do I want to live in downtown Sacramento? It's close to the ballpark. Maybe that's...
I like that fit. I like that fit a lot.
Too much of a fly ball guy with a launching pad at a ballpark.
I don't care about the Lucas side of things.
You want to be a fly ball guy in your backyard, or you want to be a fly ball guy in the big leagues?
I just want to see him get an opportunity somewhere. I think it's crazy that you even have to phrase it like that. Like, he deserves an opportunity. It's not like, oh, check him out. He might help you. It's like, he can definitely help. What are we talking about? He can definitely help you.
But his renaissance, if he's playing for the A's, his renaissance will be very accessible to us, you would think, for all sorts of content opportunities and stuff like that. So I'm rooting for this scenario. I like it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. All right. We interviewed Pete Fairbanks today. Check that out on the YouTube channel and Spotify, iTunes. That'll be there on Tuesday morning. And another Dallas confirmed special guest Thursday.
Confirmed. Absolutely.
Confirmed special guest who says he wants to participate in Family Feud.
Yes. Yep.
And this is someone who accepts a big league paycheck.
Yes.
This is someone who is decorated within our game, has something in his trophy case.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
A few somethings. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited to see who it is.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see who it is.
Oh, you know what? I got to say this too. Because this, I met this kid at a charity event that I was just at, and he was just drafted by the Buccos. And in this event, it's a poker event. Should you take the player out, you get their signed jersey. And, well, I was sitting next to this young man, and we were having great conversations. And he let me know right away, like, hey, huge slab lab guy. Huge slab lab guy. Everybody at our school was a slab lab guy. And he started breaking down like a lot of the conversations that I was having with guys, and got to chop it up with him a lot. Very rarely did I have hands that I could play that I felt good about. And when the blinds are going up like every 4 minutes, you got to pick your spots. And lo and behold, your boy gets pocket rockets, feeling really good about it. Give the all in. Here you go. Flip them over. I've got aces. He's got pocket kings. So I'm liking life. I'm feeling really good about being able to just run my mouth and talk shit to this kid. And he dropped the anchor on me. I think it was a king on the turn that sunk my ship. But shout out to right-hander Jack Anchor of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who not only did work against myself, he also took out Sergio Romo. And he also took out JT Snow to win the whole damn thing.
Wow.
So this kid walked away with 3 big league jerseys signed, sealed, delivered after taking out all 3 of us in the poker tournament. Yeah.
JT
and that was
Snow,
fun.
huh?
His family was there. Yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time.
JT Snow is an MVP 05, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, just a nasty first baseman.
JT Snow's a good follow.
Is he?
Yep.
Does he have all his hair still?
This is not Instagram, man. I don't know. Oh,
Yeah,
you're asking
he does.
DB. I don't know.
Yeah. He has all his hair. Yeah.
Well, if he didn't, I would have recommended Hims. Yeah. Because when hair starts to thin, confidence can too, and that's why Hims makes it simple to feel like yourself again with access to simple personalized care that fits your life and your hair goals. Are you tired of trying to figure out what actually works for hair loss? Through Hims, you can get access to clear solutions, expert guidance, and an online process that takes the confusion out of care. You've got places to be. Sitting in a waiting room for hair loss treatment isn't one of them. Hims makes expert care accessible on your schedule so you can skip the line and focus on feeling like yourself again. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including choose oral medication, serums, and sprays. Doctor trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop further hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. No hidden fees, no surprise costs, just real personalized care on your schedule. Think of Hims as your digital front door that gets you back to your old self with simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for real health concerns all in one place. For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/BID. That's hims.com/BID for your free online visit. hims.com/BID. Justin Havens, do we have any nugs today?
We've got a nug on Yu Darvish, who, depending on the reporting and when you read it, stepping away from his contract, not stepping away from his contract, retiring, not retiring. But the nug that I will call out is, I know that we're numb to the swing and miss and the strikeout numbers here in 2026, but when Yu Darvish's ass arrived on the scene, over a decade ago, it was electric in a way very few people have ever been electric. And his 2013 specifically still stands as his greatest single season achievement, nearly won the Cy Young Award. It is one of only 6 seasons in AL history to feature 275 or more strikeouts and fewer than 150 hits allowed. The only pitchers who had done that in AL history at the time Darvish did it in 2013 were Randy Johnson in 1997 and Pedro Martinez in 2000. Garrett Cole went on to do it in consecutive years in 18 and 19, and Verlander did it in 19. Has not been done in the AL since then. So even in the era of heightened strikeouts that we've witnessed over the last half decade, still no one in the AL has done what Yu Darvish did in 2013. So I know he's a very diminished version of what he used to be, and I don't know that any of us were really targeting Yu Darvish starts as must-watch over the last couple of years, but when he first got there, there's no question that they were absolutely must-starts in a way that, or must-watch starts in a way that very few were, and I will miss Yu Darvish if he is indeed stepping away. And that's my nug. Oh, by the way, credit to you. I always like to make sure that I give credit to you when you deserve it. You deserve it a lot. 2 years, $20.5 million for Harrison Bader. So you were closer. You were closer. Yeah.
To the Giants.
That's right.
Giants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of love for the Sal Frelick interview that we did last week. Check that out if you haven't already. The Brewers interviews continue to roll on. But yeah, Pete Fairbanks tomorrow morning, Tuesday, now of the Miami Marlins. Check that out. And then a very exciting guest. Not that all of our guests aren't exciting. They're very exciting. But this Thursday in particular, we will have a guest for an interview. And this guest will also be partaking in Family Feud with Dallas Braden. Very excited for that. Dallas, do you have any final thoughts today?
Nope.
Okay. Justin Havens, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I'm just going to strap on my boots, my hat, and I'm going to get out back there and shovel.
Yeah.
The work begins.
I'm getting a lot of pressure from downstairs. Like, are you sure someone's coming to plow the driveway? And like, because we live on a main street, so there is a mountain of snow. Like my guy that like does the lawn, he texted me the other day. He was like, "Do you need someone to help out with the snow?" I was like, "No." I was like, "We don't have a big driveway. We got like a small walkway. Like there's no need. No, like I'm good. I know how to fucking shovel." And then we get clobbered with 30 inches of snow, and the plows driving down the street have built this fucking 6-foot wall of snow in front of the driveway. I got out there, I shoveled the walkway, I got to that part of the driveway, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I don't care if I stay home until August.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I prefer that. But yeah, there's other folks that need to get out of the driveway.
What's the hurry, man? What's the hurry? Just, just kind of sack up, stay on the couch, get some hot cocoa, maybe eat some fruit.
Yeah. So he said he was going to come by with the plow at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And if he doesn't show up, there's going to be problems.
Yikes.
Not with him, but like probably with me. Like I'm going to get my ass chewed out. So.
Well, maybe take a nap. So now that we're finished, so in case you do have to tackle the 10-foot high mound of snow that's preventing people from leaving your driveway, you'll be well rested.
Well, it's workout time,
All right. Why don't you save the workout for the snow?
Because it's chest day. If it was back day, it'd be perfect.
Just take the shovel and go.
Yeah. Yeah. Dallas, have you ever had to shovel in your life?
Dirt several times. Yeah, lots of times. Never snow.
That's actually crazy. Never having once shoveled snow.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's crazy.
I'm not even sure you can call yourself a man.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I would rather be someone that has had to have shoveled hundreds of times than be someone that's like, we could have an earthquake at any moment. I don't do earthquakes and the wildfires and the mudslides. Like, no, I'm good.
That's, I mean, we always have this conversation when it comes to natural disaster risk. Like at any point in time, the ground could just open up, start moving, open up. Shit falls through, and then rain comes, and then mud comes, and then so
I'm not saying that your situation is not more dangerous. I'm just saying it's crazy that you've never had to shovel snow. Like,
you guys ever put out you ever fought a wildfire in your backyard?
Yes.
Nope. Well, no.
Yeah. We just talked about this the other night.
I have a snowplow that's
a wildfire. I'm not talking about a fucking s'more session that went south. I'm talking about.
Are you talking about that wildfire that you smothered with your ass in the middle of in your backyard? Remember that?
I'm sorry, I don't recall smothering a fire.
No, I'm talking to Dallas. Never mind. Oh. Come on, that's like one of the best stories we've heard lately. Whatever.
Yeah. 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 I'd rather do the shoveling, but not like that. No, that's too much. Too much. Every man has his limit, and I've hit mine. Well,
I'm praying for you guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Fight the good fight.
Thank you. All right. We'll be back on Thursday.
We out.